What's up, everybody? We are back. John Delarose here, delarose.com. That's DELARROZ.com. You can head to the link in my description below, sign up for my newsletter, and get a free novel, science fiction, a free novella, steampunk, and a free graphic novel, superhero. It's got a good smattering on my work because I work very hard in all three genres, coming out with books constantly. And if you've already done so, please go and check out the books. I am really working hard on promoting The Stars Entwined as of late because I am wrapping up the third book in the trilogy right now. My book Colony Launch also ties into it. So this is like my science fiction world I'm really building out, and we're going to do a lot more with it. I've got ideas for the future, which I was thinking about over the last couple of days over where this is going to go. And I'm just going to launch a bunch of spin-off series just like Star Trek does. So you have, you know, your station, you have your exploring strange new world, you have your war conflict. I'm going to really focus on building this out. But it really starts here, so you get the background and the backdrop of what's going on in the galaxy. So this is a great place to start. I think you'll really enjoy it, especially when book 3 comes out. It is a wild ride. So please check that out. All right. Yesterday, I had finally my deposition for the Worldcon lawsuit. Now, if you have been following along for years, you might know that I am in a lawsuit with the World Science Fiction Convention, Inc., who ran the 76th Worldcon, which was in San Jose, California. Now, I, like a normal reader, science fiction author, whatever, attempted to go to this con, and I just signed up like a normal person, and they knew who I was, and because of their hatred of Christians and conservatives in general, and because I'm a target on that level, I guess, they wanted to just get me out of there at any cost. And so they went on their website and they made a statement libeling me, claiming I was going, quote, intending on violating their code of conduct, and also calling me a racist and a bully. So very nasty stuff. Now, the deposition, of course, if you are familiar with law, is one of the first steps towards the trial. Now, the trial is actually supposed to come up in June, and depositions are getting recorded statements on the record with me as, you know, a witness. You swear under oath, and now, of course, today and tomorrow, as of this video's recording, the people from Worldcon will be doing the same. Now, it's like a cross-examination. Their attorney asked me a bunch of questions. My attorney asked them a bunch of questions, trying to get to the heart of what's going on and getting statements so that we can use them as evidence in the trial. All right. So you would think that the deposition would have really focused on three things based on what this is. This is a libel trial, of course, right? And the libel that I am accusing them of, and they are pretty obviously guilty of, in my opinion. I'm not a legal expert, but you just look on their website and you see the words and you see there's no backup for it, and that's that. But you'd think they'd want to focus on debunking that those statements are a libel. And so they should, in theory, ask questions towards, you know, did I intend on violating their code of conduct? Now, they asked a couple of questions about the conduct, and this is an after-action report, so I'm just going to talk about it. And of course, I did not intend on violating their code of conduct. It was a pretty standard code of conduct just for anything. And I likened it to going to Disneyland. You show up and you hang out, and, you know, of course, there's rules that Disneyland posts. Most people don't read them ahead of time, but you generally, the rules are act like a nice general standard human being. And of course, I'm going to do that. And of course, anybody at Disneyland is likely going to do that unless they have a mental disorder or something like that. But that's about it. It's pretty simple stuff. And they didn't do any due diligence to assume that I was going to do that. They never reached out to me, never talked to me. I, in fact, attempted to talk to them. I gave them my phone number so we could talk and work this out. I was very reasonable the entire time, and they showed that they were unreasonable and attempting to just harm me just because of my identity, unfortunately. Same thing with the racist and bullying. I didn't get any questions on that. And of course, I disavow racism and I disavow white supremacy and anything like that. And I'm very vocal about that. And I actually believe that I'm partially targeted because of being Hispanic. And if you look at the makeup of the Worldcon committee, they're all white, and I'm not saying the political things that they want. And so they, to me, they want me on their proverbial reservation. And I find that insulting. So I've always spoken out against that, and I always will speak out against that. And I've never been asked anything about it by the attorney. So we're on the record. Again, I disavow all racism. I disavow white supremacy. All right. And then finally, bullying. The next part, they showed a bunch of tweets where I'm responding to science fiction authors who are attacking me because of Worldcon statements. So Worldcon made this libelous statement about me. I was a nobody before they, put my name out there. And they showed that a bunch of people from the science fiction community do hate me because of their statement, and now do attack me on Twitter and other social media platforms because of their statement. So to me, it's like, yeah, they did, and I responded, and I'm really upset. You can tell I'm very, very distraught by it. So this is just evidence of the damages. So I don't know what they were trying to accomplish, but that's what happened. It seemed like most of the focus of their questioning was trying to, I'm speculating, of course, trying to label me as a public figure. Because a public figure has different rules for what's libel and what's not. But it's very, very obvious I'm not a public figure. Even now, I mean, everybody, if you argue I'm a public figure, you argue everybody with a business at all that runs any kind of advertising is a public figure. So you would say that your Mercedes dealership down the street is a public figure because they run TV ads. Well, the guy who runs the Mercedes, you don't know who that is. He's not a public figure. He's not an office holder or a major celebrity or anything like that. So it doesn't make any sense on that level either. And honestly, before they did this to me, I, again, wasn't really anybody knew my name. I was just a person on their list. So does that make every person who buys a ticket to their convention a public figure? I don't think so. Legally, I think they're going to have trouble with that also, because doesn't make any sense. And it also would make libel laws effectively useless, because every person at that point is just subject to being defamed and subject to being attacked by major organizations like this. And it's just not fair to the people. So I think we're in good shape, because it's very clear I never intended to violate their code of conduct. And I'm on the record now, I guess. They'll probably use this in court, which is fine. But I did never intend to violate their code of conduct. I am opposed to racism, of course, and I'm opposed to bullying. I stand up for authors who get bullied and canceled all the time. That's kind of what I've done to pivot from their awful reputation they tried to foist upon me by canceling me. Is I'm here to actually protect other authors and defend other authors and help other authors who get canceled by major organizations and mobs on social media. Because nobody should have to face this, and nobody should have to face it alone. So that's where we're at these days. I hope this was instructive and interesting. We'll have their deposition today. Maybe I'll make a video commenting on it. It just depends on if it's a slow news day or not. We'll see. But I thought you guys might like an update on that. And that is where we are today. I'm very positive towards this. The saddest part to me is just this entire time, just looking back at it. If they actually had an interest in safety at their convention, which I was probably the person most likely to be attacked by somebody at their convention and actually assaulted by somebody else. I was most likely to be a victim of such at their convention. If they were interested in protecting against that, they would have responded to my questions about the death threats I was getting at the time and the like. And they would have reached out to me if they had any interest in actually caring about their code of conduct or whatever. If they're claiming I'm intending on violating it, the first thing you do is, hey, can we have a phone call? I still don't know what section of their code of conduct I'm accused of, quote, intending on violating. Again, this is a thought crime. It's not an actual crime, because I never did anything. They could have just told me what it was and said, "Hey, we think, this is happening." And I would have been like, "No, of course I'm not doing that. Let's, I would never do anything like that." And we could have just had a conversation like adults, right? And it would have been over, and it would have just been fine. We could have just been happy together. Probably, I could have gotten a drink, beers with them or something like that, and just, met in person. But the intention here wasn't actually to do anything other than to unperson me. They did want to destroy my career. They had actual malice in this, as I was just getting started in publishing, and it's really sad. So this is how the industry treats people, and it needs to stop, because authors don't need to live in fear that these organizations that are supposed to be promoting and loving science fiction and promoting new science fiction authors and ideas, and dare I say diversity, they don't need to live in fear that they're going to get canceled because of who they are. All right. Hope that was interesting, guys. Hit that like and subscribe button. We'll see you.